Okay, we're going to talk about setting up client-side rules. So one example you might want to rule is if I receive an email from a certain individual or group and I'm continuously getting it and I want an action to happen on that email every time, that's when you would want to create a rule. So for this example, we're getting an email from DAS Communications, and we're going to go over here to the Rules folder. You notice we're in the Home tab. If you can see it here, Home. And we're going to go to Rules. We'll click that. And we're going to go look at Manage Rules and Alerts. Now we can see that I've already created this rule, so I'm going to open it up and show the rule to you, and then we'll recreate it. I'm going to double click it. And this is the first part where it's checking for conditions. So one, it's checking if it's from certain people or a public group. Okay, and then two, it'll say, well, what do you want to do with it? And that's where it says move to the DAS communication folder that we set up. And if you look at step 2, it just kind of walks you at step 2, what's going to happen to it. And step 3, we could make exceptions. So if it came from a DAS communication, move it to this folder, unless this happened to it. Unless maybe it had the word alert, or for your example might vary. And then you can make a name for the rule, and you would click finish and it would create that rule. So we're going to delete this rule, and we'll recreate it. Yes, delete. Okay. Alright. Well, let's find. So here's an email from DAS Communications. We're going to go create a rule for it. Now there's a quick little setup that they've already made for you. So you could click that rule. Let's talk about it one more time. Where it says always move messages from DAS. And we can see that it's found a folder that I named DAS COM. And we say OK. And it's running the rule. It's going through the entire mailbox, searching for any message from DAS Communication and moving them to that rule. And when I click in that folder, we can see it's filled with messages from DAS Communication. So that's how you create rules and manage them, or you can delete them. As you make rules, they'll start showing up more and more inside of this box, and it'll order them in the order that you receive them. It's important to know that it does take precedence. So if your rule criteria selects an email before it gets to the next rule, it will take that action. So an example is, if I have a rule looking for the word red in an email, and you send me an email that says red, blue, green, well, the rule looking for the word red, and then you have a second rule looking for the word blue, it'll get caught by rule 1, because rule 1 is in order first, and it'll find the word red and it'll do whatever you told it to, and it will never find the word blue because that rule won't even work on it. Another thing, you see the little hammer and wrench here? That means it's working. Sometimes it'll be grayed out, and that could mean that the rule is no longer working, and you could have conflicting rules where they basically cancel each other out. And another thing to know is every now and then you'll create a rule and it'll say this rule can only be run while your client is working. Basically what that means is, unless your Outlook is open, it's not going to be doing that rule. That rule lives on your client side only, and there's very few exceptions for that, but it'll tell you when it is. 99% of the time your rule is going to live on the server, and what that means is you can turn off your computer, you can turn off your mobile devices, and that rule will take effect and it'll do what it's supposed to. Or the next time you open up your client, if you have a client side rule, it'll take effect and it'll start moving the messages how you've had them set up.